Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Amobi Okugo, host of Money Talks, a new podcast from a frugal athlete in partnership with Billion or Bust Media. Money Talks explores the world of business behind professional athletes. I speak with financial advisors, business managers, marketing and PR professionals who specialize in running the business of being a pro athlete. Tune into Money Talks on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find new episodes on billionourbustmedia.com and afrugalathlete.com. Again, billionourbustmedia.com or afrugalathlete.com.
Good day, folks. Welcome to the 2 Cents Podcast. I am your host, Jay Richardson, and as always, very, very excited to be able to sit down and bring some recapping from the week of sports, how that intersects with entertainment and sometimes politics, because things get interesting. Why politics? Because we're all human beings, and it affects everything, and it affects all of us. So I think it's important that, we discuss things when it's necessary. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the NFL wrap-up, some news and notes. Obviously, there's some trades going on. Sunday and Monday night football were always interesting. We got to talk some NBA opening night, everything we saw from then. I obviously can't, not discuss Zion's surgery. That's huge, huge news in the sporting world. And then we're going to finish up with Shaq's comments about America and China and Daryl Morey, because I just think people are still missing something about that. So let's kick things off right at the top of the list, and that is the NFL. There's new trades happening every week, it seems like, and it's almost always wide receivers or defensive backs. Why is that? The NFL places a premium on wide receivers and DBs, ones that are competent and are effective and productive, because it's a passing league. We all know that now. We saw the game Aaron Rodgers had this weekend. Maybe had a statistically almost perfect game and 43 fantasy points, and I had him on the bench for Lamar Jackson, who also performed well. But, God, why didn't I start Aaron Rodgers? I'm tripping. Okay, so first things first, the Falcons are going to send Mohamed Sanu, a longtime Falcon. I thought he'd retire there, but he's going to the Patriots for a second-round pick. Classic Bill Belichick fashion. Not always the flashy guy, right? And I think, in this instance, he wanted the opposite of AB. You get a guy that catches the football. First things first, he can catch the football. Mohamed Sanu has fantastic hands, great intermediate route runner. He's good in the numbers. He's good outside the numbers. He's good in the slot. He's also somebody runs those nice crossing routes. He's a physical receiver. He will block. He will stalk block. He will break big runs for the running back because he's willing to block. It's one thing to be able to block and to be a willing blocker. He is a willing blocker, and that's what you like. He's really a Patriot guy because he's no drama. Have we ever heard a story from Mohamed Sanu other than what he's done on the field? Literally never. And that is probably what enticed the Patriots about Mohamed Sanu. Not to mention, this tells me they aren't 100% certain about not just the health of some of their receivers, but also Josh Gordon. You just never know what'll happen with Josh Gordon. So you got to have insurance. And I think Mohamed Sanu is a fantastic insurance plan. Very, very smart by Bill. And you give up a second-round pick. The Falcons won't know what to do with it anyway, and you're good to go. They aren't even in your conference. No problems there. Denver sends wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders to the 49ers for a second and third round pick. This one's kind of interesting. So the Niners right now, one of the few undefeated teams, strange too, the two undefeated teams are making swaps and changes to, I guess, get better when right now they're at the top of their game. It would seem like on paper. I think when the Patriots situation, they know that, yeah, they've had a pretty easy schedule, but they're going to need more going forward. And you saw their offense stall a good handful of times the last few weeks. And I think that has concerned them because by all accounts, they should have put way more points up on the Jets than they actually did. Emmanuel Sanders is going to be a 49er. This is a big, big deal for Jimmy Garoppolo. They've really needed a guy that can work the slot. Emmanuel Sanders is a slot machine. He can make acrobatic catches. Not the biggest guy. He's not a physical, big physical receiver like Sanu can be. He is your quick burst in and out of cuts good routes. He's going to be a nightmare for linebackers and jerk routes. He's going to be a tough cover for safeties, and that's the world he operates in. And I think he's the guy that will move the chains, and I think that's what they are going to need. I know it was a monsoon in the Niners game this past weekend, but Jimmy Garoppolo has not looked super elite, and I think that's something that, down the road when they as the competition gets stiffer, they're going to need him to be able to take them on that game-winning drive and to be able to execute and hit guys in stride and move those chains and get into the end zone. I think Emmanuel Sanders helps them do that, and he's somebody that, if you give him a good quarterback, he's always had good numbers. So I'm sure he's happy to be paired up with somebody who seems like, a guy that's progressing into a pretty good quarterback. So Sam Darnold for the Jets after having a 5-turnover game and looking like Sam Darnold looked as bad as you can look at quarterback on any given night. I don't know that I've ever seen a game like this. And afterwards, he said, quote, I was seeing ghosts out there. And everyone made a big fuss about that statement. You saw a lot of the Patriots players in interviews, kind of like, whoa, he said that? Did he really? Well, that may, that's crazy he said that. And I think a lot of people were kind of like, why are the players making that such a big deal? Because y'all got to understand, in the athlete, not even athlete, in the football community, especially as a defensive player, in every locker room I've ever been in, every defensive coordinator says, we want to be so swarming, we want to have so many different shifts in our coverage and disguises that the quarterback is seeing ghosts. That's what we all say in the locker room, right? Like that's what we say in the meeting rooms when we're breaking down film of a quarterback, especially if it's a young quarterback, and we're looking at what his tendencies are, what he likes to do, what his history is. We all know Sam Darnold has a history of throwing a lot of interceptions. He did in college, USC, so we knew who you are in college doesn't change much when you get to the pros. You become a better version, but you still kind of are who you are, and he's a high turnover guy, always has been. And that's what they were counting on. I'm sure the Patriots watched some college film, watched a lot of his pro film, and were like, yep, we know exactly how to disguise this. We're going to come out and show him that cover 2 shell, and then we're going to drop one down in the box to neutralize Le'Veon Bell, give him a single high, play some man underneath, and force him to make throws in tough windows, and then we're going to switch back and go to a nice cover 3, and go 3 deep and just continue to keep him guessing and watch how guys are just zoned out all over the field and see if he can find the windows and put the ball in those windows. He could not. He put those balls right on Patriots defenders repeatedly. And obviously in the post-game presser, he said, I was seeing ghosts, and the guys went crazy for the Patriots because that's what you want to hear, man. Like, there's no bigger stroke of your defense's ego than for the opposing quarterback. You just embarrassed to say, man, they had me out there seeing ghosts. So you saw a lot of Patriots players giving themselves big old pats on the back, deservedly so. That's a cool thing to have happen as a defender. I just wanted people to understand that's why you saw the reaction you saw on ESPN or whatever from so many players, because that's the goal. Like that's how you draw it up. That's what you want a quarterback to say. We just never would think that a quarterback would actually say it. So the fact that he said it makes it that much sweeter, I'm sure, for the Patriots and Bill Belichick. Now, speaking of quarterbacks who are struggling, Mitchell Trubisky, good God, man. This is getting to the point where the Bears have to really decide what their future is, what Mitchell Trubisky's future is with this team organization and what this team's future is. You don't want to waste such an elite defense, even if Mitchell Trubisky could be half as good as, Trent Dilfer when he had that Ravens defense and they won a championship. And I think that was like 2000. And you watched them win that just on the backs of their defense. And Dilfer made the plays when he needed to, but he managed the game beautifully, handed the ball off, and just didn't screw it up. Mitchell's trying to screw it up. And here's the thing. I get that the offensive coordinators are not giving Mitchell Trubisky tons to work with play calling wise. I actually understand that because as a lot of times as a young quarterback, you want the entire playbook available to you for situational football so that you can, show off what you think your attributes are and what you think your skills are. Problem is, he doesn't have the attributes or the skills to be able to use an entire playbook. So they give him this limited playbook on game day, and he goes out there with these handful of screens and little short throws he's allowed to throw, and he doesn't hit those. And then he's he's missing wide open guys. Like, there's so many breakdowns of that Saints-Bears game where Trubisky has wide open guys and, down the seams, in the flats, deep on the numbers. And you're thinking, dude, if you're an NFL quarterback, you got to go and make that throw. He won't even attempt it. He'll take the sack, or he'll fumble or throw it out of bounds, or, and it's like, when the home crowd's booing you in the second quarter, there's problems, okay? I've never seen a home crowd boo that early into the game. Why were they booing that early into the game? Because they've been seeing the same thing all season. So now they're expecting him to look bad. And then when he confirms their suspicions that he's awful, they boo like on cue. It's unbelievable. Trubisky, to think, if you're the Chicago Bears, this was a draft where you had a chance. You had the number 2 overall pick, right? Baker Mayfield was taken first in that draft, which still to this day baffles us all. And then they went Trubisky over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, who's now proven to be a generational NFL talent, like the LeBron of quarterbacks when it comes to skill set and talent and ceiling. God, Chicago, how'd y'all screw that one up so bad? And you would think in the Windy City, you want a guy with a powerful arm who can throw the ball to cut through that wind. That's Mahomes. And your GM, your scouts, you guys all got in that room that they call the war room on draft day, and you put up all these guys on your big board, and the best you could come up with was UNC's Mitchell Trubisky, who only was a year as a starter and didn't really have a great skill set, didn't read defenses all that well, could throw a decent ball in some T-shirt and shorts, but you put some pads on him and you put him in a game situation, and he was going to struggle in college, and you thought he should be the number 2 pick in the draft. Yeah, Chicago, you guys deserve every awful thing coming your way this season because you're stupid. And dumb gets you beat, a coach once told me my rookie year, and you can't work with stupid. So, NFL wrap-up, that is that. I'm sure there's a few other things, that need to be talked about, but we'll wait for things to emerge as the week goes on. Opening night in the NBA. How excited are we about that? I've been waiting. I know. I'm an ex-NFLer, but I'll be damned if I don't love me some hoops, bro. Like I love basketball. Like I am a hooper at heart. Be honest with y'all, deep down inside, I'm supposed to be in the NBA right now. I don't know how I ended up in the NFL. I think I ate too much in high school, and it just became a natural fit to go somewhere where you put on a helmet and push people around because you're just too big to be on the court. That's not fair. And I also kind of had a touch of body dysmorphia where I felt like maybe I was way bigger than I was. Maybe I wasn't too big to play basketball more. I should have. I did in high school, and I was pretty good at it. I should have kept it going. Whatever. Digressed. Listen, it was opening night. 2 cool games. One ended up being much better than I thought it would be, and the other one kind of did not live up to all the expectations. So first things first, the Pelicans lost a tough game to the Toronto Raptors, returning champs opening night. So obviously the Raptors are getting their ring ceremony. Even Drake was there to get his custom OVO rings. So lame, but whatever. That's Drizzy. Anywho, I did not expect the Raptors to look the way they did late in the game without Kawhi Leonard. And I want to preface that by saying after you lose the MVP of the league, to me, to the LA Clippers, you felt like, oh boy, the Raptors, he was definitely the finals MVP. You feel like, oh man, the Raptors are really going to struggle to find, that production as a group, who's going to fill that in. And then you watch the Pelicans come out. They came out hitting. Like Lonzo Ball came out knocking down threes, dropping dimes. You watch JJ Redick doing his signature fall away 3. I don't know how he does that, where he just gets to a spot. He's in a full sprint coming off a screen and just jumps in the air still floating and just makes the adjustment in midair with the ball and was able to knock those shots down. Unbelievable. Alvin Gentry coached his butt off, made a late change to Holiday over Ball, which I don't know. I thought Lonzo Ball is a really good defender. He's long. He does a really good job of getting in there. Okafor gave him some valuable minutes. The Pelicans were in a back and forth game with the defending NBA champs all night long, and it really came down to the last 3 possessions of the game, which was really cool. And the biggest thing I took away from the game was Pascal Siakam just got paid a max deal, $110+ million. Whenever you see a guy get a max deal, your first thought is his following season, he's going to come back and take every single shot because he feels like I got to justify this contract. I have to take over every game all game long, and I got to be the guy because I'm the highest paid guy on the roster now. And it's interesting to watch his take on it. Coming off of a year where he won Most Improved Player, he didn't feel the need to go out and try to dominate the basketball and take every shot. He let the game come to him. He finished with 30 and 18, which was, huge numbers, but he did it pretty efficiently. He played great defense. He's long, and, he clogs up passing lanes. He alters shots. He finishes at the rim really well. He's been working on that mid-range shot. It was really cool to see how well they played without Kawhi Leonard. That was interesting, and it was interesting to watch how well the Pelicans actually played without Zion, who we'll get to later on in the show. So this was a heck of a game that I did not expect it to be. I thought the Pelicans would get folded. Brandon Ingram, sidebar, also played very well. He we all thought Brandon Ingram was going to be the next Kevin Durant, and that was just because he was skinny. And we learned right away, okay, he didn't have that same skill set as Durant. And even if he has a similar skill set, he doesn't have that same bloodthirsty scorers mentality that KD has. KD, comes from that Kobe tree of I'm taking the ball and I'm putting it in the hole any way I have to. And I love that. I wish LeBron had a drop more of that in his game. Why? Because I'm taking us to the next game. This is the game I thought was going to be the one that came down to the last possession. This is the game we all had circled on our calendar. Yeah, it's opening night. I get it. No one's going all out. You're not going to see every team's best. Everyone's coming off of a summer, and they're just trying to get things going and have a decent opening night for the fans. But we all secretly wanted to see the LA Clippers and the LA Lakers in the battle for LA, LeBron versus Kawhi. Who has the better bench? Who has the better starting five? Who made the best additions? Is it Anthony Davis go into the Lakers, or is it Paul George assisting Kawhi headed to the Clippers? These are all things we all wanted to see. Well, no Paul George and no Kyle Kuzma, so that kind of altered things. I thought that altered some matchups, especially late in the game. You saw KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, spent a lot of time guarding Kawhi Leonard. I thought that was a horrible move by Frank Vogel to put KCP on Kawhi Leonard. He's too small. He's got decently quick hands, but his feet aren't fast enough, and Kawhi moves at a different pace. Kawhi, when I say different pace, I don't mean faster. He moves at his own pace. He has kind of like this old man game, like this classic NBA player's game. He works that mid-post area so well. He works the baseline so well. He knows how to move without the basketball and cut. Got a couple backdoor dunks that look kind of pretty. One AD had a chance to challenge on, opted out for good reason because the claw was already up in the air, and you don't want to be on that poster. I get it. But I did not like KCP on Kawhi. I really would have loved to see LeBron take that matchup, at least in the fourth quarter, the way Kawhi seemed to want that matchup with LeBron. And for all those who are going to say, well, yeah, LeBron's soft for not taking that matchup, LeBron's about to be 35 years old, okay? Kawhi is still a youngin'. So understand that LeBron has an entire season he's thinking about and not just, let me try and shut down, Kawhi for opening night. I understand LeBron's mentality and thought process. It's just the fan in me really wanted to see that matchup. The athlete in me understands why LeBron guards people the way he does. And LeBron's defense, he played fantastic defense, had a beautiful chase down block. I don't know why dudes still try him at the rim. Like, he's not that guy that's going to throw your stuff into the fifth row or whatever and stare at you like you foolish kid. And that was Shamet, right? Shamet is a light-skinned cat with the bad hairline for the Clippers, who shot the ball very, very well, led all rookies in three-point percentage last year. He got a nice steal and was coming down the court, and Bron did what he always does. He half jogged just to time it up properly, and then just out-jumped Shamet to the backboard and cleaned it off the glass like he's supposed to, and then just stared at him like, the hell are you thinking? Like, you never YouTube my highlight video? You know what I do. And then took a charge on Big Boy right after that. That was very impressive defense by LeBron. Here's what was not impressive by LeBron. And as much as I'm going to give KCP a lot of credit for this Lakers loss, it's only because AD looked unbelievable, man. Anthony Davis is as advertised in the paint, on the perimeter, defensively. He made one play saving the ball got a steal, kept one toe in bounds, and then threw it to JaVale McGee, who also I thought played pretty well defensively and was a great rotational piece, knew how to cut without the basketball, get to the rim. I like watching the big lobs between AD and JaVale. You could just tell when you watch the Lakers take the court, they are long, man. Pause. Like, they just so much length. You already know, like, it's going to